Hello, YouTube. This one's for Felix. I was just watching Felix Immler's video on how to use a jigsaw blade with your Swiss Army knife, and that gave me the idea uh, for a different blade, for a different cutting blade for the Swiss Army knife. And I've been thinking about this one for quite a while, and I had a different idea in mind, which would require work on the manufacturing end. But today, after watching Felix's video on how to use a jigsaw blade for your Swiss Army knife, which he got from the other fella who he gave credit to, but Felix Immler on YouTube tells you who that other person was, and so that's where this original idea came from. But I had this idea for a long time, many years now, where how to use a metal cutting blade with a Swiss Army knife. And like I was just saying, I thought maybe the answer would be on the manufacturing end for a special kind of model, if you will, but after watching that video today, I was playing around with this, and this is what I came up with. There is a way if this thing will focus today, to use a metal cutting blade with your Swiss Army knife without doing anything, like making some special adjustments or changing the actual knife. The jigsaw blade adaptation was using the hook in here, and that didn't work for this. But then I figured out another way how to do this, and it just works on the corkscrew end. And as long as your Swiss arm, the ring part, the key ring, has enough clearance, if that'll cooperate with me here. Hang on, it never does. Like this one. As long as it just has enough clearance in there, it'll work. Sometimes the key ring's in the way on some models, and but those are most models. It'll work, even on this one, without actually removing the key ring. Some of them maybe you have to remove it, and some of them are designed in a way where it might not work. But I think the majority of these Swiss arms, this will work. And all it is that blade fits in that channel there next to the corkscrew. And as Felix was just saying on his last video, you need this sideways stability, and back and forth stability, and the downward upward stability, which this has plenty enough for most small metal cutting jobs. So that's a metal blade. I tested it. I don't feel like actually doing the whole video on that, but it will work. And just with that extra bit of force, even with your thumb on there, it'll provide plenty of strength for that horizontal stability. So all those three factors that Felix was just talking about in his latest video, which he just put out today, are met here. And you just need a piece of anything to wrap around there, unless you have a very strong thumb. But since the metal blade is quite thin, you'd probably be better off, just with some leather strapping, or just wrap something around there a few times, and that'll give you that extra comfort and the strength that it requires. And just to give you one last look like this. If it'll focus, I can't really tell here. Still on a shoestring budget here. Okay, so let's unravel that. And you can come up with different ways of, you know, if you are wrapping something around there, you can start one end through the corkscrew loop and use one end in the key ring loop. But you just need something to wrap around there. And that's all that is. Fits in there, just like that, nice and snug. And the corkscrew provides just a good amount of pressure in there, and it keeps it from going that way. Just very easily undone. It just fits in that channel there. You just want to put that in there. You just close that on there. You know, there is a bit of play here at first, but set it in there. So it goes back to there. And then you just wrap that around, and you now have a metal cutting blade for your Swiss Army knife. Oh, and the blade, unless you can get they're shorter ones. I just happen to cut a longer one to a desirable length here. That way you can just take it on the go. It'll give you an emergency metal cutting blade, and it'll cut most metal things, small jobs type thing, with the convenience of your Swiss Army knife.